Welcome into Sports Tonight. I'm Bailey Burmaster, joined alongside Ellie Parker for your Friday edition. We made it a long week, a lot of Falcons news this week. We have another great show. We're going to talk Falcons, obviously, as they get into their second preseason game. We got to talk Corky Kell. We're going to talk a little bit about the Braves and where they're at right now. You get a couple guys back and then a couple more leave. That just seems to be the tide of how things go. And then on top of that, we have a fun one for our fourth. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but it does have to do with the NFL. Then we'll wrap up how we always do. But let's start with the Falcons. They have their second preseason game in Baltimore on Saturday, I believe at noon against the Ravens. I feel like every single year preseason gets more and more dull, especially with all the injuries the Falcons have had. We're going to see no one in this game.
Yeah.
I think the reality is the guys that are getting reps are guys who are bubble guys.
Which, at a certain point, you need those guys to have tape.
You
actual
do.
Game time.
But as a fan, it's probably not your favorite time of the year.
Not at all.
I think at this point, I can tell you, at least from my perspective, Ellie, I am itching for football season to start.
As a Bears fan, I'm excited.
Okay, before we head into the sound about Michael Penix Jr., and how his training camp has gone, we'll obviously see him this game. Have you been watching Hard Knocks? We actually have not talked about this.
I have not.
What?
I have not.
Is there a reason?
I'm just not a big TV person in general.
Okay.
I'm much more movies.
But it's the Bears.
I know.
Okay.
I've also just never liked Hard Knocks.
Okay.
I get my football fix during the season.
Okay.
I might watch it
that's a hot
during
take.
the season just because
that's a hot take, right?
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
But
as long as you know. As long as we're self-aware, we can move forward. Michael Penix Jr. did play in the first preseason game. I believe he had something around 160 yards. Played fairly decent. People liked what they were seeing. I think everyone got to see that he was spinning it fairly well. That's just kind of what we've been seeing in training camp. But he did speak to media, so let's listen into what he had to say.
I think the ball was in the air and playmakers were making plays. So I think that's what was going well. And to keep that consistent is going to be a big thing, and I think we're doing that right now. So it was a fun practice.
And then today it seemed like you were frustrated at times. So could you kind of contrast yesterday and today, and then what happened today?
Well, I felt what it's like, to be with a QB of that caliber and being able to go out there and kind of do what I know I can do. And so now I've seen it and I felt it. So now it's a consistency thing. And I think if I don't have a day like that, then it's a failure, So I think that's just me just being the competitor and trying to push myself for consistency and just being great.
I saw you and Kirk and Kyle with AJ over in the far end,
yeah.
Working on some stuff. What were you guys talking about? What were you working on?
We were just working on stuff after practice. Something that we usually do, especially AJ is willing to help us, and we were just getting some work.
You guys are getting a pass rusher from New England with Matthew Jr. How exciting is that?
Very exciting. Anything to help this team win, I'm all for it. He's on the defensive side, so I'll let them handle that. But I'm very excited for him to come over here and make an impact.
Look, I know it could be frustrating after you have a day like yesterday, you as the offense collectively, and then today the defense come in and stop you all. But yet still, just looking at it as a totality, is that a good thing? Or how good does that feel to know that you can't have a day where your defense comes out and basically ball out?
Yeah, our mentality is that we want to be able to go out there and annihilate everything in front of us every time we step on the field, right? But to have the defense to come back and throw that counter punch and it be days where it's just straight back and forth, I think that's a good characteristic of a good team, I think that's going to help us in the long run, and that's literally iron sharpens iron. So I can't be mad at it, but at the same time, I want the offense to win.
I think every time we talk with Kirk, he has a new compliment to say about you, whether it's your hands or whatever, the way you get the ball. What's that like to hear someone with so much experience in this league be so complimentary towards you and craft?
It feels amazing. He's played a lot of ball in his years, and good football at that. So to hear it from him is really, really good, and it just makes me want to go out there and prove to everybody that he's saying the right things, and that's true about me.
Having this training camp with him over these last 3 weeks, and the times you guys had before, mini camp and everything, how much has that helped you grow your game? And what have you seen in these last month or two?
Immensely. And I don't even think it's just Kirk solely. I think it's just everybody here. There's different coaching techniques that are being used as far as getting to the player and knowing who he is and how he's going to reciprocate that. So I think that ultimately I'm just having fun playing ball again.
The team added a lot on the offensive side in the offseason. Kirk, obviously, Mooney, Sutter, Ray. They didn't do much on defense, but now they have this pass rush. Is that kind of like the missing piece? Could it be like that missing thing for this team to really take it to the next level?
I'm not really in the defensive room like that, so I can't really tell you. But again,
You do play against them, right?
I mean, yeah, but I'm not all up in the interior and stuff like that. So, they're doing a hell of a job, and the more pieces we can add, the better it's going to be. So I can't complain at all about any of that.
Kurt talked about how the team is just so in tune with each other and they're actually friends and buddies. Do you think that can help the team as far as going into the season?
Oh, yeah, for sure. When you have a bond like that, I think that's what makes big plays happen. That's what helps you down the road when the season gets grimy and things like that. Like, Mooney's going to take a screen. I'm going to block my ass off because I know that he's going to get me if I have the screen or whatever it might be. But to actually go out there in between the lines and fight for your brothers and say that they're actually your brothers outside the lines is a huge deal for a team. And I think we had that camaraderie.
You know, and I seen you, I think it was a pass where it was broken up. Well, it should have been a touchdown. They didn't call it a touchdown. But I seen you slapping hands with Bates and you all was having fun or whatever. What do you all share, like, different advice with each other as far as, okay, you need to do this, or on this play you should have done that instead of this?
Oh, yeah, there's always helpful tips that everybody gives, especially to the guys who see stuff a little bit better than others. And we're just here to help each other, try to elevate the team in general, because if I help you and you help me, then that's just going to elevate us all, and that's going to push us to W's.
You said that you felt what it was like to play with a quarterback of the level of Kirk Cousins. I'm just curious, what exactly does that feel like?
Feels like you're playing good football. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but it's just a person who has countless reps. They've probably been in about every scenario that you could possibly think of in football. And to have that knowledge and then to go out there and be able to execute stuff like that, it's a little bit different. So I can't truly pinpoint that question, but it's just different.
So just like a feeling that's just like in you.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence.
And in terms for you, big day yesterday, big day, or, not so much today, but like the energy for you is kind of that same, like, hyped up. Do you feel like you are looking to strike a balance, or is that just like you're going to leave it all on the field?
I told myself I'm going to be me this year. There's no more, I don't want to say necessarily hiding, but I'm going to be me this year. I'm going to play ball that got me to this point. So I'm not reverting back to any old past or whatever it might be, but I think I'm just going to be me from now on.
Which means what exactly? More aggressive?
I think more loose in a sense. I'm going to talk my talk, I'm going to play my game, and whatever happens, happens, because that's me at the end of the day. So I'm gonna do me.
Did you feel like as a younger player you needed to suppress some of that, or was it just because you were still learning and you had so much other stuff on your mind?
There's a lot of stuff that was going on. But I think it was mainly trying to get comfortable for the game. I mean, I am still very, very young. Especially to be in my third year. So it was just a little bit different. I feel, how I said earlier, there's a 180 out here with the coaching staff, everybody here, the gameplay, everything. It's just different. So I'm going to be me, and I think that's going to help me elevate myself and the team.
Bringing in a guy of Judon's caliber, what does that mean to the locker room?
I think it means we're taking the right step forward, and I just can't wait for him to come in and help the team in whatever way he's willing to do so or he possibly can.
And then, kind of week one is over, preseason. What is their kind of expectations as you all prepare for Baltimore?
Go out there and win. I mean, that's pretty much it. I know those guys are hungry to play, and we're really excited about that.
Man, I say, man, just take it day by day. That's the biggest thing. Just going day by day. Just continue to find ways to get better. It's always ways to get better. And, no matter how I felt, no matter how anybody else felt about the game last week, for me, I got to be better. I got to be better for the team each and every week. And, that's all I do. So.
You connected on that 41-yarder to Chris Blair in the game, but the one to Casey kind of just before that you guys were just this close. What was that conversation like between the two of you when you got back to the sideline?
Oh, man, we just said we were going to connect the next time we got the chance, and we did. It wasn't on the go ball, but it was on, we had, a spot throw, I think that was before it, so we had a basic after that. Me and I think 7 targets to Casey, I think. So I believe we completed a couple of them. So, yeah, man, just having that trust and, just the chemistry we built out here on the practice field, just knowing that, okay, we didn't get it the first time. I know I can still come back to him and he'll make the play, so.
And that chemistry like that, because I would imagine it is so important when you guys are 35 yards apart from each other during a play and that distance is only increasing, that you see things the same way from different vantage points. Like, how do you feel like that's coming along with you and your receivers?
I mean, it's great. It's just reps. We do a lot of routes on there each and every day, and then obviously we get a lot of reps in team periods, and we take advantage of those. That's the biggest thing. Just make sure you take advantage of every rep. Not taking any reps off, and just giving each other a great look. As long as I know he gives me a great route. And if he's wide open, I'm gonna give it to him. If it's pause. If he's covered and we got that connection we built, I know where to put the ball at so he can catch it. So that's just something that you grow on each and every day. So.
What did you see on that play today in practice where I believe it was AJ intercepted you and the ball was intended for OJ?
Yeah, one-on-one. You got to give your guy a chance, and that's what I did. AJ made a good play. He was out of bounds, though.
Given your time in training camp and the preseason game versus Miami, what would you say has been the biggest adjustment into the NFL thus far?
I feel like, just the time you have. You got so much more time, it's all football. It's not, you don't got school, you don't got, all these different tutors you got to go to and stuff like that. It's football. You're just building and getting better on your craft each and every day. So.
Raheem has been very big on the identity is going to kind of establish itself out on the field. And I'm curious, just from your perspective, is there any aspect of this team as a whole, as a group, that has kind of like stood out to you so far that maybe could be defined as like an identity or something like that?
I feel like this team is very consistent. I feel like this team comes out with attitude to want to work each and every day, and that's the biggest thing. These days can be long, especially in camp. You go on long days and coming in at 6 in the morning, leaving at 6 at night. So it's like sometimes that's just a range, but it's always different, but it's always it's long days. So for people to continue to be consistent, still come out with that same attitude, to want to get better, to want to put in the work, and knowing that that's what it's going to take to help this team win football games, it's special.
Going into your second preseason game now against Baltimore, what are you looking to do in that aspect, assuming you're going to play a lot again?
Yeah, for me, like I said, I just take it day by day. We had 2 really good practices these past 2 days, and just continue to build. And for me, it's just like, just make sure I stay on track. Stay consistent with everything I do. My attitude. Obviously the accuracy part as a quarterback, you got to be consistent with that. But just my attitude. Just the way I attack each and every opportunity I get to be on the field, and that's what it's always about. So.
Did you have a reaction to this morning's news of the trade for Matthew Judon, knowing he's going to be across from you?
Oh yeah, that's big time. That's big time. I go against the ones and practice, and he'll be out there whenever I'm up. So it's going to be a lot of great looks. The guys that we have now, they've been giving me great looks as well. But to add him to the team, it's definitely special. So.
How would you describe the culture of the Atlanta Falcons?
Oh man, I say. The culture, I feel like it's contagious. It's just the way that we go about like our business. Like I said, just the consistency is contagious. You see one guy, catching. You see, who is that? That might be Jesse. If that's Jesse, he's here every day. Before practice, he's catching. He's doing it after practice. Then you see the younger guys coming out doing the same thing. Just seeing him, the culture is contagious. And I feel like everybody builds off of, the older guys, the veterans, just showing the way and showing how, they operate and why they're at the point they're at in their career. And for me, Kirk in his 13th year, for me just seeing how he operate, and like it's contagious.
Mike, I don't know if I've seen the wristbands, so apologies if that's just on me, but are those new or have they been out here? No, the quarterback wristband.
Oh yeah, we just started using it, because in the game you might need some play calls on there, and just getting used to it, getting comfortable with it.
Is that something you have any experience with during your career so far?
Yeah, I've always had wristband. Yeah.
Is that comfortable for you to kind of just have it there if you need it?
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else? All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
So we will see how the Falcons pan out. I'm really excited for that Week 1 game against the Steelers.
I'm excited too.
I don't know why. Okay, let's dive into this a little bit. It's going to be Russ, right?
I wonder. I'm more interested in their OC
Okay.
because obviously the Steelers OC is now Arthur Smith.
And Cordero Patterson's also over there too now. It was funny because Arthur Smith was actually, I believe it was on Pat McAfee's show. And he was just talking about like he really enjoyed his time while in Atlanta, but it's been really nice to have a fresh start. So I'll be eager to see what he does with this Steelers offense. It was very clear that Kenny Pickett was not going to be the guy, and so now it's Justin Fields, who also gets a fresh beginning. I think that's cool that Arthur Smith and Justin Fields both get a fresh beginning, but they have Russ. Do you believe Russ can have a resurgence in with the Steelers this season, or do we think he's? I hate to say washed. I think that's a very aggressive word, but I can't think of anything else right now.
I'm not afraid to say washed. Man is washed. Man is washed.
I think I'm whispering it into the mic. I think he might be.
Man is washed.
I think he might be.
I'm gonna say it with my whole chest. Russell Wilson is washed.
Do we see Justin Fields as a starter at some point?
Yes.
Whoop. Okay, we got to circle back to that during football season because I do think that's something that's very interesting to discuss. Okay, let's talk about the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic. We are now into day 3. There were supposed to be 3 games today. Rome was that night game. If you did not hear, there was a bus crash with all of the football players on it. Thankfully, it seems everyone is okay. The bus driver did his best to kind of divert the mess that was on the road. Police said that it might have been a drunk driver on the other side. So glad everyone is happy and safe, but they ended up pulling out of the game just for health reasons and whatnot. We'll have to keep an eye on how their season goes. But Hebron Christian was pulling it on thick. One of the other games for today is Callaway and Cass. The Cavs will start their new season against Cass at Barron Stadium, so this is all in Rome, very far. That game, I believe, is set for 8. We will have those highlights. Last night was a really good game between Prince Avenue Christian and West Forsyth.
That was very fun to watch.
It was. Prince Avenue, obviously a really, really good team and continue to be. There's a lot of good games tonight, so I was going to run through some of the ones we will have. We will have all the action that is on Peachtree Sports Network, so that Cass Callaway game, the Hebron Christian and Therrell game. We also have a camera out at Buford Milton, which is a huge matchup tonight. Our Connor Hines is at Westlake Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes, always a powerhouse.
Poor man is suffering right now. It's so hot outside.
Okay, so I should talk. Should I talk about what happened in our 6? I'm gonna out Connor on this, but I feel so bad. So we had a little bit of a mispunch by our director, and the padding of Connor's story was long enough, but we didn't get out of it. And so he starts wiping his sweat on his forehead. And I just...
It's so... I mean,
it's hot.
If you can actually get this on a terrestrial station, you know it is hot outside.
Yes.
If you're watching this on OTT from out of state.
Yes.
It's Georgia in the summer, man.
Well, and
it's hot.
Think about
it's
the game
humid.
that was played at 4:30, but started at 4:30 between.
Goodness, I feel for those kids.
So hot.
It's so hot.
Another massive matchup I have to mention. It will actually be on ESPN2 tonight. It is Carrollton against Woodward Academy at Woodward Academy. Carrollton went 11-2 last year, kind of fell short of their goals. They're led by Julian Lewis, Juju, which is probably going to be his last year before he heads off to college, where I still believe he's scheduled to go to USC and play for Lincoln Riley.
But who knows?
Yeah, listen, with NIL, who knows who could sweep in and throw more money at him and where he might want to go. But that's a huge game. Should always be a fun one, should be quite a shootout. So we'll have all the high school football action tonight on Atlanta News First if you want to tune in. All right, let's talk about the Braves. So the Braves
Team cannot catch a break.
So we'll start with the fact that they had a rough go in Colorado.
Against the Rockies of all teams in Colorado.
And then they go to San Fran to play the Giants, and it's a 4-game set. They take 3, and then the finale, they have Max Fried going up against Logan Webb, who just had a stellar night, so there wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room for Fried. But, yeah, now they're back with going against the Angels. Ron Washington, obviously, the manager there. But, you know, there was a lot of talk about all the injuries, and they got Michael Harris back, who hit a grand
You get
slam
Michael
in his
Harris back,
return.
and now A.J. Minter needs surgery.
Yes, tell the
taking a
people what's
piece out
going
of
on
the
with
bullpen.
A.J. Minter.
Oh, my God, this team, again, cannot catch a break. Is Minter out for the season? I believe it's going to be season ending.
It most likely will be season ending, but the issue is Snicker would not say. He said they don't really know the severity of it until he gets into surgery. So they'll have to go under the knife, and once they get in, they'll be able to know more. But it did not sound good, but Snicker didn't say that he would be out for the season. So it's kind of a remains to be seen situation. But the thing that's hard is, you know, A.J. Minter has always come back, and then, he'll be in free agency. So who knows if this is the end of his run with the Braves. Obviously a really sad way to go out if that's the case. A lot to still be played out, but yeah, that's just a blow.
All right. This is a you thing. This is your topic.
Okay. Yes, it is. So I figured we'd have some fun because Ellie loves to debate. So we talked about the Olympics a lot and Noah Lyles, which, okay, before we get into this, well, this is what I'll say. I'll say it, and then we'll backtrack a little bit, and then we'll discuss. So who you got? I want to discuss who would win in a race between Tyreek Hill and Noah Lyles, because Tyreek Hill, after everything that happened with Noah Lyles in the Olympics, which we'll get to, Tyreek Hill went on, I believe, NFL Network, or maybe it was Kay Adams' show, and said that he would, they were asking about Noah Lyles and his sprinting and whatnot, and he was like, I can beat Noah Lyles in a race, which made me beg the question, would Tyreek Hill actually beat Noah Lyles in a race? Okay.
Depends on the race.
Okay, so.
Because I have a computer in front of me, I'm doing a little bit of math right now. Looking up Tyreek's 40 time.
Okay, let's give context before you go to the good parts of this whole debate. Let's circle back to what happened in the Olympics for maybe someone who didn't pay attention.
Yes.
So, 100 meter, he wins gold.
Mm-hmm.
His race is actually the 200.
Yes.
Which was
the 100 meter is not his race.
It's
He's
not
much
his
better
race,
in the 200.
but he won. Noah Lyles, if you haven't seen, also talks a whole lot of mess. Like a
this
whole lot of mess.
man brings out Yu-Gi-Oh cards to the races.
And I think some of it is a bit to get in people's heads. But to me, too, if you're going to talk that much, you better be able to back it up. So he wins gold in the 100. Everyone's like, yeah, talk your mess. Go Noah Lyles, whatever. And by the way, it was a photo finish.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't
5
win.
thousandths of a second.
That is
That is insane.
So that's how that happened. Then the 200 comes, and he gets bronze, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he collapses immediately after, and he looks super winded. And it was just a weird how it all played out. Well, it comes out that he had COVID. And that is why, I don't want to say blaming it on COVID, the reason he didn't win, but played a part in it. So everyone had an opinion about this, including Tyreek Hill, who went on this show and basically said, you can't be talking that much and then claimed COVID when you get bronze. You're either about that action or you're not. And then he goes on to say, I could beat Noah Lyles in a race. So I wanted to ask Ellie, do you think Tyreek Hill can beat Noah Lyles in a race? And keep in mind, Tyreek Hill used to run. He used to do some of these meets, and he was very fast. But what you got? What numbers are you over here crunching? Tell me what you got.
Tyreek Hill's 40-yard time is 4.9 seconds. if
4.29.
4.29. And 40 yards is about, let's see here, I had it up and then I put it away. 40 yards is about 36 meters. So 100 meters is roughly 120 yards. So you have to not quite triple that, but like 2.5.
Double on a dribble.
So if we're doubling Tyree 4.29, if we're doubling that, that's 8.6 roughly. And
He's there.
He's
in
there.
the vicinity.
Noah Lyles ran a 9.79 in Paris in the 100 meter. I'm still taking Lyles. Even in something that's not his race, I'm still taking Noah Lyles.
It's probably smart and safe to pick Noah. I think they should do this. I would actually turn in to watch this.
This would be like this would be fun.
Yes,
This would be
absolutely.
fun.
I'm a big, big fan of it. So worth paying attention to. Ellie, oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. We have to go on what's on your mind, but we haven't talked about something that I think is crucial. But you go first of what's on your mind today.
All right, it is Players Weekend in Major League Baseball, the weekend where MLB players get to sort of show a bit of themselves, and a lot of them have chosen their bats. And Padres center fielder Ricky Jackson Merrill had one that looked like a lightsaber. It's so dope.
I didn't see that, so I'll have to go look. I missed it.
It's so dope looking.
How did we
Anyway.
not talk about this? The U.S. men's national team has a new coach. How did we miss this?
This is going to be so fun. Mauricio Pochettino as the U.S. men's national team coach. Yes!
He was one of
Give
two
me.
people that people really wanted, but they didn't think we could get him. And now you have.
Give it to me.
And people want to go, oh, well, he hasn't won a big championship. Blah, 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 blah. But he's been right there.
Yeah.
And he's 10 times better than anything else this team has probably had in the last couple years.
I'm excited. I have hope for once with this team. Maybe they'll do decent in 2026. Obviously, managers can only do so much,
Yep.
especially at the national level where the players you got are the players you got. You can't really go out and transfer somebody in unless you were able to get a dual national to go, I'll play for you instead. But how effective of a strategy is that really? We saw it with Jurgen Klinsmann. The answer is not much. So the
What you
players he
have
has
is- yeah.
are the players he has.
And you got to work with it. So it'll be interesting to see maybe what tweaks he makes. But I mean, I don't think people realize how quick that World Cup is going to come up with not a whole lot of time to figure it out.
A little less than 2 years away.
Correct. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. Also, quick mention, the Atlanta Dream back in action, back from the Olympic break. They face off against the Storm at home tonight. Then I believe they have the Sun on Sunday. We'll make sure to have all of that on Atlanta News First, too. We'll have all of that covered along with the Corky Kell stuff, so you won't want to miss Atlanta News First at 11. But in the full swing of things, and don't forget, Saturday is also Georgia's second scrimmage, which is kind of what Kirby Smart said is the ending of, preseason and training camp for them. So we'll see how it all pans out. But for this edition of Sports Tonight, I'm Bailey Burmaster. Ellie, thanks for joining me, as always, for another fabulous week. We'll have all the sports news coming out on Sports Tonight next week. Have a good weekend.